Alright, what's up, everyone? I'm the last Caleb,
I'm Captain Cold.
and you're listening to Power Bros.
Yeah.
Woo! Alright, so, kick back, relax, grab your dick, and start jerking, because we're going to be talking about some good shit here in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so we just watched an episode of The Flash, and we were talking, okay, we recorded an episode before The Flash, but my dumb ass deleted it.
Yes,
So-
you did.
So, okay, I'm sorry. So, we're redoing
All
this
that
right
down
now.
the drain.
But you know what? After watching The Flash, though, let's talk about The Flash because
Alright.
I really we were talking about shows earlier, and I don't know. The Flash is one of the best superheroes shows I've seen come out. Like out of the multitude of shows that have come out. You had Smallville, you have Arrow. You have Supergirl out right now. You have Agents of Shield, which is kind of
Yeah, Daredevil, Jessica Jones.
Daredevil, Jessica Jones. I don't really consider those TV shows because they're on Netflix. I mean, like it's like I can't watch that on TV. I have to go to Netflix to watch that. It's a Netflix show.
Alright.
It is a show, though.
Technicalities.
Yeah, it's the technicalities, but I don't know what's like. You used to watch a lot of Smallville.
Yes, I never missed an episode. Well, that's not true. The third season I didn't watch so much because it was on Wednesdays, and Wednesdays is when I used to have to go to church, which wasn't my choice, but I still had to. Anyways, I watched every season of Smallville. I have the first 8 seasons on DVD. I still need 9 and 10. Damn.
Oh shit! You know what? Okay, so real quick, I forgot to say, we're just going to be nerding out talking about superhero stuff, so if that turned you off, if that just gets your dick limp, then just go ahead and click out right now. But if you like nerdy stuff, if you like nerd talk, then stick around. But yeah, Smallville. Probably one of the biggest superhero shows, of the past decade, I'd say.
Well, it did last a decade, too.
Yeah, 11 seasons, am I right?
10.
10.
Well,
okay.
technically now they are, and it's 11th season because it's now a comic book. It's called Smallville Season 11. Which is
I did not know this.
Yeah, I've seen a few issues, and I know one of the ones that was popular was when Batman was introduced. And,
No.
And I loved Smallville, but probably like most fans, it did go on a little too long for it to,
Yeah. You kind of overstayed its welcome,
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I loved it. Like, first 4 seasons were good. I don't remember much about the 5th.
Now, Superman's adversary, Lex Luthor,
Mm-hmm.
I heard about this, did they lose the actor, halfway through, and for, a long time you could only see silhouettes of him or
I
something?
don't know exactly what happened to him. Like, he was in the first seven seasons, and at the 8th and 9th season, we thought he was dead, and it turns out that he had just been in an accident and had been severely scarred. He was in and out of different hospitals,
Scarred.
and
That's
then
not the Lex Luthor I know.
and the Fortress of Solitude fell on him.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, that messed you up. And
Wait, so did he not have his Fortress of Solitude? What?
for a little bit,
Or did he literally drop the Fortress
No.
of Solitude on him?
there was. Long story short, Lex found a device that he found out who Clark Kent was. He found out that he wasn't human, and this device allowed him to destroy the Fortress of Solitude. And doing so, Clark lost his powers, and Lex went missing. And we found out the reason he'd been missing is because he was frozen in the Arctic. Because after the fortress fell, he got 3rd-degree frostburn, all this other crap and whatnot. And so, in Smallville, when they finally find out he's alive, Green Arrow kills him.
Oh, dang.
And then he gets brought back as a clone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Oh, yeah. Definitely didn't upset me the
speaking
fact
of,
that it was a clone.
Superman losing his powers, we had a conversation about this, about, how we were discussing about Superman being relatable, and how a lot of people, they don't find Superman relatable. They, Batman's relatable, and, how we were discussing, Batman's only relatable in the fact that he's a human being. Past that, I find no relatability towards him. I could put myself in the shoes more of Superman because, if I woke up one day with all that immense power, and you don't really think about it, but he really restrains himself whenever he throws a punch because he could punch a supervillain, into the next solar system, but, he's got to be delicate because he doesn't want to do that,
Yeah.
He wants to do good, and he wants to, be there for the people. And you know, a lot of people go, oh, without his powers, he's nothing. But to me, you know, like, it's not really the powers that make the superhero, it's their beliefs. And
Yeah.
Superman's beliefs are very strong, very, like, he's called the Big Blue Boy Scout.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's what I always really liked about him, you know? Like, he always, you know, he's always trying to do the right thing, you know?
Even the right thing sucks.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why he's just also such a scary character to me. It's just because, you know, if he, like, loses it, you know, like, in Injustice, if he goes
Mhm.
on an all-out rampage, he really, you know, is overpowered.
Yeah.
Who do you think's stronger, Hulk or Superman? Now, I know a lot of people would say the Hulk because, oh, he's the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. But I saw something that, Superman actually ended up lifting, like, you know, like, a lot more than the Hulk ever has, and we still don't know his exact power level.
One comic says that he is able to lift over 200 quintillion tons. I think that's 200 with a lot of zeros behind it that I don't quite know the number.
Now, is that, like, but what brings that on? Because I know he gets a lot of his powers from our sun.
From her son, yeah.
Yeah.
In All-Star Superman, which is I think Elseworld is the right term to use. It's not 100%
Did they make an
continuity.
animated movie about
They
that?
did make an animated movie where his cells absorbed so much solar radiation that kryptonite no longer had its effect on him. He was 10 times stronger than before, but the downside was that it was killing him. Because essentially he got poisoned, but
Was it like radiation poisoning?
it was that his cells were so charged with solar radiation that he was turning to pure energy.
Oh,
Yeah. And there was another comic, I don't remember which one, it came out a little bit ago, where for 5 days straight, he was at the Fortress of Solitude, and he had a machine that weighed as much as the Earth. And for 5 days straight, he lifted it. And he only broke 1 drop of sweat. And the only reason he stopped is because he was like, well, I've been here for 5 days. I need to get some solar radiation. Maybe get a shower.
yeah. See, I think honestly, like, you know, a lot of I think Superman would be able to beat the Hulk. You know, like, I think it'd be, you know, like, kind of a drawn out battle. You know, because
Yeah.
the whole thing, Hulk, you know, gradually getting stronger. But I think if Superman went all out, he'd be able to knock him out or something. You know, because Hulk's not invincible. I
Mhm.
mean, Superman's not invincible either. He's weak against kryptonite, and a lot of people don't know this. Weak against magic.
Mm-hmm.
And we were discussing, you know, like, one of the biggest magic guys, and I would think one of the biggest magic guys in DC, Shazam. Or, you know, I still call him Captain Marvel. Even though, you know, we can't call him that because
No.
Marvel Comics owns the rights to Captain Marvel now. It's kind of weird. It's not even the same Captain Marvel.
it's not.
You got Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel, and you got Captain Marvel, the Captain Marvel before her. I think they're gonna go with the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel in
Yeah.
the
Yeah, they are.
MCU though.
Yeah.
But you know, Shazam, you know, he can go toe to toe with Superman because, well, he's magic.
Not to mention he's the mightiest mortal.
Yeah. It's always so weird to me, you know, like Earth's the son of Krypton fighting Earth's mightiest mortal. Like,
Yeah.
Shazam's never seemed like a mortal to me. I'm just like, God dang.
Well, what's really weird is that his biggest adversary is Black Adam, and one of the stories of Black Adam that he's been alive since ancient Egypt, so that would mean he's not really mortal anymore when he's in his, I don't know.
Is Black Adam supposed to be mortal?
I think I don't really know much about Black Adam, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, because also Black Adam went to the evil side, so maybe he
Yeah.
did something that caused him to be immortal.
I don't know, I just know they get their powers from God, so that might have something to do with being able to live for a long time.
Speaking of Black Adam, Dwayne The Rock Johnson supposed to be playing him?
Yeah.
I think that he is perfect for the role because I think he looks like a Black Adam.
He does, and I know for a very long time, The Rock campaigned. For the longest time, he's like, hey, Warner Brothers, I really want to be Black Adam. No, you can't. Please. No, you can't. Please. Alright.
Well, weren't they originally campaigning for him to be Shazam though? There's a fan outcry going, "Hey, he'd be better as Black Adam."
There was talks that he was going to play both roles.
Both roles?
Because their powers come from the wizard Shazam. that their superhero forms, or whatever you want to call them, would look the same, but their mortal forms, Billy Batson, or Teth Adam, as his human form is as Black Adam, would look like themselves, but their other forms would look the same. But that was just
like
just a little funny.
Black
things.
Adam Rock just looks like a badass. Like he'd make a badass Black Adam because he's got that build, kind of that Black Adam reminds me, and his head too. His head is shaped like how I would imagine Black Adam's head to be shaped. Shit, there was something I was gonna say, but I completely freaking forgot about it.
Alright, let's get back to The Flash, since we just watched the newest episode tonight.
Alright, okay, so, The Flash. I love what they're doing with the story.
Awesome.
I love Season 1. I am in love with Season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Season 2 has just upped the game so much, and it's really, the way they're doing it, because I remember when I first heard that, Reverse Flash and, Zoom, the main antagonist of Season 1 was Reverse Flash, and they did him good. I liked him.
Good.
And then they announced Zoom for Season 2, and I was really scared they were just gonna retread the whole, oh, well, it's just another, Flash and everything, but they made Zoom so badass and scary. Because honestly, in the comics, they are so just interchangeable. They both
really
have the,
are.
I think the only difference is one has normal eyes and the other has those red,
black eyes.
Yeah. But the way they made his mask, not look human, and the way he talks is very intimidating. He's a very intimidating character.
And just the way he looks, just his build, he looks huge.
Oh yeah, and his fighting style is very ruthless and aggressive. When he's fighting Barry, he's just
Well, he breaks his back.
Yeah, he breaks his fucking back. But I love what they're doing with Zooms. I think that's that's one of the few times when I'm just wow, character change is for the better.
Yeah, when I first heard when they introduced Zoom, I was a bit afraid of what they were gonna do, and I thought, I don't know if I'm okay with introducing Zoom, and they're like, well, he's not gonna have a yellow suit, he's gonna have a black suit, and I thought, well, I don't know if I'm gonna like that either. And then they introduced him, okay, he's awesome, I like him, you sold me.
Hold on, okay, Zoom. There's something I was gonna say, but I keep losing my train of thought. This is really bad. Okay, you talk.
Well, I really like the season of Flash because I love the multiverse, and as much as I love Earth 1's Flash, I do like Jay Garrick. There's just something
Garrick, we were discussing this earlier. I'd like to discuss this again, about a reminder, this is gonna get real nerdy real quick. Jay Garrick, Earth 2 Flash, and Barry Allen, he's got Eobard Thawne as his Reverse Flash. And then Jay Garrick, he's got the rival, but we were discussing, what if, Zoom is his basic Reverse Flash, because that's the only way I could see that making real sense in that, because they come from the same Earth.
Yeah.
Earth 2, which Harrison Wells keeps reminding us, our Earth...
Well, your Earth 2 is actually my Earth 1, because that's where I'm from. And it's okay, thank you, Dick.
How do they keep track of that in the comics? How do they keep track of what Earth is what Earth?
I don't know, because there are so many. Because I know Earth 3, that's where the crime syndicate is from.
Yeah, the opposite Justice League.
Yeah,
the Justice Lords?
Yeah, no, they're the crime syndicate.
Oh, is that are those different things? Crime syndicate, Justice Lords, are those two different evil?
Yeah, those are two different evil. Justice
really?
Leagues, yeah.
Okay, wow. Very similar though.
The crime syndicate is the mirrored versions of themselves. Over there, Superman is Ultraman.
Yeah.
He gets his powers from kryptonite. And over there, it's not Wonder Woman, it's Superwoman. Or instead of Batman, it's Owlman. Or instead of the Flash, it's Johnny Quick. Which,
So instead of Aquaman, is it Landman?
I don't think so.
Mountain Man. we both loved the original Justice League cartoon series.
Oh yeah. awesome.
Why didn't they put Aquaman in there? I remember they showed him, and
was-
he was this weird, he had the beard and everything, he had a hook for a hand,
Well, he was when they had Justice League Unlimited. He was he showed up a little more, but not like super often.
But what was there like? I remember reading something about like they didn't quite have the rights to him or something.
No, they didn't have all of the rights to him because at one point, Aquaman's biggest villain, Black Manta, showed up, but he wasn't Black Manta.
He was like, what
I
did
don't-
they rename him?
Something with the word devil in it. Devil Ray.
Devil Ray. That was it.
Yeah, but I don't think they had all the rights to him,
Oh,
so they weren't
speaking
able
of
to use him.
Aquaman, you were discussing like you really like Jason
Oh, I
Momoa
love Jason Momoa
as Aquaman.
Like,
How would you feel for like Black Manta being his villain? I would love
I
to
would
see.
love that. Would be cool.
Black Manta, like his suit looks really weird, but it's so cool to look at. He
Yeah.
looks like such a cool character. But Jason Momoa, I really like. He really looks like he's strong. He's like I look at him and go, holy shit.
I wouldn't
I'm
wanna
looking
get
at
in a fight.
I'm looking at Poseidon, god of the ocean, right here. But yeah, Jason Momoa. I really hope for the movie that they give him the original colors for his armor, the gold and the green, because I just love those colors on Aquaman. I do not like how they make it tights though. Like, that's just a weird thing superheroes have is tights. I was thinking on this on the way into the house. Like. Every moment they spend getting into costume, that's another moment that the person they're trying to save could die.
Well, that's what I love that in the Flash TV show. Like Barry, he literally runs into the little room where his costume is, run back out within like a split second.
Yeah, Flash can do it.
He can do it real quick, and so can Superman because he goes in the
Yeah.
telephone booth, spins a line, he's done. But when you look at somebody like Green Arrow or Batman,
yeah.
like it's gonna take you at least a good 10 minutes to get that.
Like,
that,
if you hear
that-
someone
that
across
armor.
the street, like, help, someone's mugging me. By the time you get into costume, that mugger's gone.
yeah, they
He's
could
got
be
made away with the
dead.
money. That person's probably dead.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought about that. I was just like, the more I thought about that, the more I was like,
I think that's maybe why Batman is strictly at night. It's
Yeah.
like, well, if I patrol at night and I'm out in
I also
fire
thought
time-
about that, I was like, okay, well, that's why they have their patrols then, because
Yeah.
I'm sure they thought about that too.
Yeah.
And, but I just kept thinking, but what if they get caught in the moment where they can't, like,
Yeah.
bam, just
Like-
be right there.
like- and you never see Batman at daytime, except for in The Dark Knight Rises. For like
Well,
5 minutes.
And if there's
but-
anything, Batman in the daytime looks so silly to me.
It does. It looks very strange.
God, what was this keeps
This train of thought
happening.
just won't come to you.
Like, no, it like pulls up to the station, and before I can board it, it just takes
just
off.
goes away, and you're like, yeah,
Goes
crap.
away. You know what? One conversation I liked hearing is that we had from the other podcast that I stupidly erased
Ugh.
was your first comic book.
Yes.
Um,
It was the Phoenix Saga or Dark Phoenix Saga from X-Men.
And we went into discussion about how do you feel about Brett Ratner and how X-Men: The Last Stand, the third X-Men movie that's been panned like everywhere, like how you felt about it.
Well, I'm going to put it to you this way. When the studio that makes the movie comes out with another movie to rewrite the mistakes of the past movie, or movies in this case, as the Wolverine movies, kind of shows you how bad those movies were.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because in order to... Well, we want to keep making X-Men movies, but nobody liked X-Men 3. Our Wolverine movies aren't doing too well. What should we do? Hey, let's do time travel! Yes! Time travel!
Yeah, they did it great though.
They
I love
did, yeah.
I love First Class. Days of Future Past was great.
Mhm.
Although I still have mixed feelings about how the Sentinels looked. They actually had some concept art from X-Men 2 about like
Yeah,
how,
they were in X-Men 3, the only part that was actually okay
Now,
was when they showed a Sentinel head in the Danger Room that Wolverine chopped off, but that was pretty much about it.
you probably know more about them than I, but could you explain what basically the Sentinels are?
The Sentinels were made by Boulevard Trask in order to hunt down mutants and either kill them in some cases or imprison them so they're no longer part of the population.
And wasn't Days of Future Past in the comics just like 3 comics long? Like
it was very brief. But
it was not a long
No.
thing, but
No.
that's where the Sentinels were first introduced. And from what I understand in later comics, they're used to kind of keep an eye on the X-Men,
Yeah.
which never made sense to me. That whole thing has never made sense because you got people like Spider-Man and Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel running around. And...
Sentinels were made to go after people who were born with the X gene, which is what makes a mutant and their mutations.
But
Spider-Man and...
They essentially have superpowers, though, and it never
it's-
made sense, because...
It's not the same, because Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider, the Hulk got hit by a radiation bomb. Wait, what's all this radiation crap? Captain America was made with a super soldier serum, so they all weren't born as mutants, so the Sentinels don't see them as mutants, and they don't go after them.
Okay. But just the public outcry against mutants has never made sense to me
I
either.
completely agree with you on that, because it makes no sense. Like, dude, Captain America, he's so cool. I love Iron Man, I love Thor.
Wolverine, get the fuck
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
here!
Like a guy that shoots beams out of his eyes. Shit, he's scary. A guy that can move metal.
Oh, Carol Danvers, come over here. Come shoot a beam
Yeah.
at my kid. I love you.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But
It's
then you got mutants like Toad or Beast or Nightcrawler.
the Skin.
Where
you
they
know
just
about that
look-
one?
I don't know who that is.
Skin. His
Skin.
mutant power is literally, because I remember I read an article about like the 10 worst like mutants. And there are some really shitty mutants that they put in the comics.
bad.
One of them is named Skin. All he literally has is an excess of like 6 feet of skin that he can stretch out.
That sounds more gross than it does cool.
He looks really gross, and I think he gets executed by someone.
Wow. I know there's another mutant that she's called Dust, and she can turn into a pile of dust.
Wow.
Yeah.
Breaking new
I
ground.
know.
There's also one called Choir, and she just has extra mouths on her neck that can talk.
That sounds...
Kinky, but I don't want any part of it.
I don't... okay. Alright, well...
I mean, speaking of Wolverine movies, I never saw X-Men Origins Wolverine. I have no intention to. I saw the Wolverine. Wolverine, it started off pretty good. In the end, it got pretty shit real quick.
Yeah, the whole... I'm gonna steal your powers by drilling into your adamantium bones.
One thing I don't
Okay.
understand is they set up the scene where Hugh Jackman, he opens like a briefcase, the classic Wolverine costume. It looks
Yes.
really good. It looks like you look at it and you go, wow, that would translate really well to
It
film
would.
if you put that on.
But it was just in a deleted scene. And
Yeah, it wasn't even
really-
actually part of the actual movie. It kind of makes me mad that a lot of companies do this where, like, they try to, like, okay, well, if this was a superhero movie in the real world, then they probably wouldn't, have access to all these costumes. So I'm like, that's great and all, but I'm not paying my money to see a superhero movie in our world. I'm here to see a superhero movie in their world, the world I fell in love with.
After all, after The Dark Knight came out, everybody tried to ground their movies in much more reality. It wasn't so up in the air, as in, like,
And that works for Batman though, because both here's why though. Joker and Two-Face, they're ridiculous, but they're very grounded, they're
Yeah.
people. They're human. Of course they're grounded.
Yeah.
But you got people like, who Wolverine, who can like, he's got adamantium, he's unkillable basically.
Yep.
And it's just like, well, that's not really in our world, and trying to ground that's very stupid.
Yes.
Same thing. Like I think that's going. We had this conversation about Suicide Squad, Killer Croc in it. I love the look. He's too small, and I think that's another thing of them. Well, he'd look ridiculous if he was 8 feet tall. I'm just like, he's
He needs
supposed
to be 8 feet
he
tall.
needs to be 8 feet tall. How else is he gonna do all that he does? He needs to look intimidating. I need to shit my pants when I see him.
Like, when I think of some Batman villains, I think of the Arkham games. Like,
Yeah.
In Arkham Asylum, you face off against Killer Croc, and he's 9 feet tall. When you first see him in the game, he can't even get out of the elevator without...
Yeah,
He's down,
he's just
without
like
bending
looking
down.
at you, just like, hey,
And-
Bat.
And then at a point in the game where you actually have to fight Killer Croc, that was part of the game where I'm actually like, oh shit, crap.
Oh
And-
man,
but
the
when I
Arkham
see-
games,
When
are
I see
so
Killer
good.
Croc in Suicide Squad, I'm like, okay, yeah, he looks cool, but if he was like 2 feet more taller or so, he'd seem like he'd be really intimidating to the point where Batman would be like, "Oh crap, I have to fight this guy," instead of him being like a 6'1" guy with a skin problem.
Like they even even the Dark Knight Rises, they try to make Bane a little bit bigger than Batman because Bane's supposed to look bigger than Batman.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of completely changing a comic book character, they completely changed who Bane was. I love how I mean I liked how they did him.
Yeah.
But Bane in the comics, he's a luchador.
Or you think he started off as a luchador?
Yeah,
or something
I
like
know
that.
he's Mexican though. Or Spanish
or
something. And he grows. That's his thing. He's got the Bane serum. I know it's the entire basis for the Arkham games. It's Joker trying to use the Bane. I think it's Bane serum because I know Joker's trying to use that for something.
With a V. Oh my god, that's gonna bug the shit out of me. I should know this. Oh my god, I'm failing.
You should know this.
I'm failing horribly. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, let's just move on.
Okay.
It'll come to me.
Let's talk. How about Static Shock? Because we were talking about this earlier too. I feel he's such a good hero, but he's very underrated.
He is. If they were to ever bring him in Arrow or the Flash TV show, that would just be so cool.
Oh yeah,
I would love to see that.
Or is really any of the Teen Titans?
Really, and I would love to see Cisco design his little flying disc or his trench coat. That would be just so cool.
But the Static Shock TV show was so groundbreaking to me.
So good.
It's very underrated. It's one of the I think it's very overlooked by Justice League Unlimited, Batman the Animated Series.
Superman the Animated
but a lot
series.
of people forget Static Shock was right there.
He was
in that series. That's what's so cool to me is he got his own series and he's connected to those series as well. They dealt with a lot of stuff. We were discussing this earlier.
It was racism.
There's an episode where his friend Richie brings him over to his house, and his dad, is just completely racist to him. And you don't see kid shows, even nowadays, you don't see kid shows deal with the topic of racism.
Or even school violence.
School shootings. There's a school that they didn't have a school shooting.
Well, they had a kid bring a gun to school, and Static's friend Richie got shot, who turned out to be later on in the series to be a sidekick. Gear.
Yeah. There was another big one. Dyslexia. They dealt on the topic of a superhero having dyslexia.
Yeah,
that was a good episode.
Man.
I love Rubber Band Man.
It was cool.
Yeah, he was a nice superhero. I love all the superheroes, how they did them on Static Shock.
Yeah.
I still don't know exactly how I feel if Jaden Smith played him in a live-action adaptation.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still a thing.
I don't know if it is still a thing. I know the Teen Titans TV show that was going to be on TNT got canceled.
It did?
Yeah, it was announced over a year ago, and it just didn't get any traction, which is kind of sad, because that would have been cool to see. But you just can't get everything you want.
But Teen Titans... you watched any of Teen Titans Go?
I've seen maybe one episode and was like, what the fuck am I watching?
It's funny, but the whole thing is, it's not what everyone wanted.
No.
Teen Titans was also another groundbreaking show to me,
It was a good show.
Was it American made?
No, I don't know. I know it did have a Japanese or Korean or intro.
Yeah.
I can't remember
the character, the Puff. Wait, it was Puffy and Amiyumi, I think, that sung it. I'm pretty sure those are the ones that sung it. But yeah, Teen Titans was the shit back in the day. And that show had some really nice story arcs. And the last episode of it, you go, that's it? That's the last episode. I remember hearing oh, hey, they're bringing Teen Titans back. I nearly shat my pants on the spot because they're like, holy shit, are you kidding me? Same voice actors? Oh my god. And then I look at the trailer, I'm like, what? Guys, did you forget the cliffhanger you fucking left us on? But it's not a bad show per se. It's just... And I think that's
not good.
A lot of people don't want to admit this. It's not a bad show. It's just not a good follow-up at all. It's the direction they decided to go in just does not make sense to me.
No.
What was that?
Sorry, there's my phone going off. That's the
Batcave?
No, that was the scout. That was the scouter from Dragon Ball Z.
Huh. You know, who do you think would win in a fight, Goku or Superman?
Superman.
Superman?
Superman.
Superman.
And I know a lot of people say, "Well, Goku could fight him." If you say that Goku could, if you say Goku could win against Superman, all you have to do, go to this channel called Screw Attack, go to Death Battles.
Yeah, they had
there's a two-parter on Superman versus Goku on why Superman will win. I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, because I love Superman. I'm saying that they did the research and they did all sorts of stuff onto why Superman would win. It's Superman, the man who has no limits, against Goku, the guy who breaks limits. So, yeah.
And Superman's just got no limits to be broken.
Nope.
Goku's just.
Goku is cool. I love Dragon Ball Z.
I was about to be completely opposite there. Like, I am not a Dragon Ball Z fan. I've never really cared for Goku. He just seems like one of those characters that's just like, okay, well, you know, like, that's got to be his last transformation. And then out of the last second, he's just like, let me reach up my ass and just pull out another one.
So you got Super Saiyan 1, you got Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. Secondly, there's Super Saiyan 4 from GT. A lot of people don't like it. I actually like it. And then in the manga, they did for a brief time have Super Saiyan 5, which was like a combination of Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan 1, but with silver hair. Or no, sorry, Super Saiyan 3, but with silver hair. And then you've got Super Saiyan God.
Yeah, that's like
with red hair.
Yeah, that's one of the
And then you've got Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan with blue hair.
Like what? Like after a point, it just becomes like, you know, less impressive and more. Okay, so you can basically. What fucking challenge can you not?
Oh, then he's also got the giant ape form.
Oh yeah, a lot of people forget about that.
Yeah.
Like how powerful is that? Is that powerful?
It can destroy a planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't Piccolo just like it's in their tail, right? Like,
yeah, their tail is the key to the moonlight.
Didn't Piccolo just casually destroy the fucking moon? Like
yeah, he just destroyed the moon and there was no consequences whatsoever.
I was about to say, shouldn't the Earth tides be all
the tides
fucked up?
would mess up, all sorts of other shit would mess up, but no, Piccolo destroyed the moon and it was okay. So.
No, he's like one of the big heroes of Japan. I know that. Like, you know, he's a Japanese superhero. Yeah. You don't really see a lot of Japanese superheroes. A new anime, you should definitely check it out. I don't think you have at all. New anime recently came out called One Punch Man.
I've heard of it.
It is incredible. You know, it's basically a parody of the superhero genre. Like, what's the most overpowered superhero? And it's this guy, you know, like, he literally defeats everyone with one punch. And he's gotten to the point, you know, where he's bored. He doesn't feel the joy from being a superhero anymore because, well, there's no challenge. There's no fight for him. It's just, bam, that's it. And it was actually started as a webcomic and then got turned into a manga and then got turned into an anime. So it had a pretty interesting development cycle there, but it is phenomenal. Anyone listening, if you want to check out a good anime, should definitely check out One Punch Man. It's not your typical superhero shit.
Mm.
And speaking of not typical superhero shit, we were discussing Watchmen earlier.
Mm.
And how, you know, when it came out, it was not the typical superhero shit when it came out. You know, because I feel like you didn't really have a lot of gritty superhero stuff at the time.
Other than Batman.
Yeah, I think the whole creation behind superheroes, you know, was, you know, fantasy and, you know, kind of uplift the human spirits, because I think they were starting to become popular during the Great Depression, actually.
Well, they started, that was the golden age of comics. The Superman and Batman were created around that time. I don't remember the exact year. And they were pretty popular up until World War II, when they were stopped being made. And then a few years later, I don't remember the exact year again, the Silver Age of comics started, and one of the biggest comics to come out of that is actually The Flash. And a lot of people say that he's almost responsible for the Silver Age of comics, and all the superheroes coming
That was
back.
the Jay Garrick Flash that started that off, right?
It was before World War II. Yeah, it was Jay Garrick,
Yeah.
and then they brought Barry Allen in.
Oh, was that after World War II?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just, to my knowledge, up until, then superhero comics were generally, pretty upbeat, uplifting,
Yeah.
nothing really, serious or dark or anything,
Yeah.
a lot of them played out, like you'd see in a newspaper comic, basically.
Yeah.
And then Watchmen comes along, and you get, rape, you get a lot of murder, child murder. It's heavy stuff.
It was the Vietnam War, I think, was in
Yeah,
there too.
yeah. You got the Vietnam War in there, too, and just dealing with that, and it's just a very, a heavy stuff that you deal with there, and the movie's so underrated.
Oh yeah, I agree. The movie is good.
It is.
They got a lot of good actors in the movie. And,
like Rorschach's actor Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
And then Jeffrey Dean Morgan as the comedian.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But isn't he gonna be playing Bruce's dad?
Yeah, he is gonna play Bruce's dad in
Batman
Dawn of
versus
Justice.
Superman.
Yeah, I
Dawn of
completely
Justice.
forgot about that. Yeah, he is.
That's always just kind of funny to me because seeing him play the comedian, and he's actually going to be playing a character on The Walking Dead now.
Yeah,
a lot of people forget The Walking Dead was actually a comic series,
it was
before it got.
novel, yeah.
I wonder how long the comics went before someone picked it up and went.
Let's make a show out of this.
Yeah, and
I
it
don't
was
actually
immensely popular.
I don't know.
But yeah, okay, going back to Watchmen, the characters, Rorschach and Night Owl, all based off. They weren't originally Rorschach, Night Owl. They were Question. And God, I really should have looked this up by now. They were all based off a group of comic characters that DC had acquired and wanted to do a story with. And someone came up with this really dark story. And essentially they were like, well, why don't we just not do that and just make our own characters? And voila, you got Watchmen.
Very underrated, but good.
Oh yeah. If you want to see a good superhero movie, go check out Watchmen. And I hear a lot of people go, well, it wasn't like the comics. And it's just like, well, okay, what superhero movie is going to be,
superhero movies
like the comics? And I say that, but I also complain, when something doesn't look quite as like the comics as I want it to be, like Suicide Squad.
Or Fantastic Four.
Oh, God. What was Fox doing? I don't really understand. One of the biggest mistakes and flops I've ever seen in the movie industry is just, I don't understand why it's so hard to make a good Fantastic Four movie.
I don't either, because I love the Fantastic
Four. What I don't understand more is how the fuck do you mess up Doctor Doom that bad?
I do not know.
He's such a Victor Von Doom. He's so cool.
He's such an easy character. He's like evil Iron Man. He's got a suit of armor. He's super freaking rich. He's evil.
He's got his own country.
Yeah.
What's this country called?
Latveria.
Latveria.
Yeah,
I knew it was something. La area.
He's not hard to mess up. I mean, I don't know what Fox is thinking when they're like, well,
there's just a lot of problems with that movie, from what I understand.
Well, half the problem was Fox was just wanting to hang on to the rights to Fantastic Four.
They thought everyone
shit out a movie.
I feel like they thought, okay, why don't we make a gritty, take on the Fantastic Four? And I was just like, well, they don't need to be gritty.
They're not gritty. They're not one bit gritty.
They're like Marvel's first, I hear this a lot, Marvel's first family. Yeah, they're supposed to have, these outrageous space adventures, supposed to be having fun. They're supposed to be quipping, everything you've seen from the MCU so far. And it's just, you get, four teenagers, trying to, it's like adults going, what do you think kids like these days, Joe? They're talking a lot about that internet. Why don't we give them some of that internet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, that's not, guys, we want the characters, how the character's supposed to be presented, not whatever the hell you just shout out to us.
And I would love to see Fantastic Four alongside the Avengers. I think it'd be so cool to see Reed Richards and Tony Stark working on some kind of project or something.
Because they both played a big part in Civil War.
They did.
Reed Richards is behind the whole trapping superheroes in another dimension when
the
they
negative
don't.
Zone.
Yeah, when they don't follow the protocol.
Yeah, and
I am glad that they're kind of doing their own take on Civil War, though. I'm excited to see it. And
Yeah.
one thing I'm, like, I hear a lot of complaints about, the MCU not being like the comics. And you know what? I'm glad it's not like the comics, because that gives...
100% like the comics can be a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, because, like, then there's no surprise for you. You know
Yeah.
how it's going to end. I do like them to, as long as they stick to the characters, how they were, like, in the comics, and that's fine to me. By all means, go do your own stories then, because they've said repeatedly, well, the MCU is its own universe, essentially. So, of course, things are going to be a little different, like in any alternate universe.
Yeah. And actually, I don't know when Marvel Comics said it, but actually they said that actually the MCU actually exists in the Marvel Comics continuity of a different Earth. Like, original Marvel Comics exists in Earth 616. The MCU exists in Earth something with a 9 somewhere. I don't remember the exact number, but it actually is continuity.
God, do you ever
Sort
just step back and just look at how big the MCU is? Like,
It's getting pretty big
it's
now.
freaking huge. Like, I just taking a step back and just looking at Iron Man and going, that's
Yeah.
cool. And I just remember being so excited for Iron Man 2 and going, oh man, that's such a long wait from now. And now I'm just
No.
sitting here going, God, Infinity War! Like, that wasn't even, like, I didn't even know what the Infinity Gauntlet was at the time. I had to
Me neither.
research all that,
I did
and
too.
now I'm so hyped for it, Thanos is coming.
Well, I remember when Iron Man first came out, and I went to go see it in theaters. And at this time, I had no idea that it was going to be part of a bigger universe. I thought it was, like the other movies that
Yeah,
came
yeah,
before it,
yeah, like just
that
a
it was gonna be
standalone,
it was standalone
like, yeah.
one shot, and you'd be like, ah, cool. And then I left the movie theater not knowing there was an after credits scene.
No one knew there was an
And
after credits
so
scene.
somebody told me, he's like, dude, you gotta go see Iron Man. I'm like, oh, I've already seen it. And they're like, did you stay behind it for the after credits scene? I'm like, what the fuck's an after credits scene?
Yeah. You got every movie doing like
and
an
now
after
you got
credits
everybody
scene.
doing it now. And then when I went to go see it for the second time, and I stayed, and you had Nick Fury there, and I'm like, and he's like, I'm here to talk to you
Samuel L.
about,
Jackson.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, and I'm like, I about fell out of my chair.
Oh, and I remember when Avengers came out. That was so cool to see in the movie
so
theaters.
cool.
That was such a I really need to go back and rewatch that because that's just such a good memory for me. It's just watching all that go down.
I remember going to see it on. It wasn't opening night. It was the day after opening night. It was a Saturday night, and I went to go see it with some friends. The line was wrapped around the frickin' building,
Of course.
and holy shit! And people were dressing up. Everyone was going crazy. And
It was a good time.
And what's interesting is like, this used to not be like people used to not be this much into superheroes. 20, 30 years ago. At the time, if you were like superheroes in comics, you were considered a nerd.
Yeah.
And a weirdo, and you'd be picked on for it.
And now superheroes are like the main thing to do nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like it's just so muddled now. You got DC trying to catch up to Marvel. And I'm so glad they did a World's Finest movie before they jumped right into Justice League. Because I remember they were thinking of doing just Justice League and then the standalone movie.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, okay, guys, you don't need to do that. Please don't jump from Superman to Justice League. Please give us something in between. And I think now we got Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah.
But I believe now we also have Wonder Woman, Aquaman,
Yeah.
and Shazam, and Suicide Squad. I keep forgetting Suicide Squad
yeah.
is like grouped in there in that lineup.
The order it comes out, we've got Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which is next month. I'd like to be able to say that's next month.
Oh shit, is it?
Yeah, it's next month.
Oh shit.
And then you've got Suicide Squad in November. Then after that, you got Wonder Woman, May of next year. And then after that, we get Justice League. Then after Justice League, we're gonna get a few standalone movies, and then we're gonna get the second Justice League movie, and then a few more standalone.
I'm gonna
movies.
have to rant again. God dang it.
Oh no!
All right, okay. So real quick, DC, if you're late, take Cyborg out of the fucking Justice League. God damn it! I look at it and it's not right. It's like coming home and seeing like some dude fuck my wife. I'm not even married. I don't want him there. I just no. Where's Martian Manhunter?
Yes, I want the last son of Mars.
It gives Superman someone to fucking relate to because they're both the last of their planet and they're both aliens on Earth and not just some guy who's like, hey guys, I'm half human, half cyborg. Aren't I pretty cool? Yes, you're cool, but get your ass back to the fucking Teen Titans. God dang it! It makes me so mad.
I hadn't have noticed.
Oh,
Yeah, you're gonna be all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want Martian Manhunter.
I know.
Like, he's such a cool character, too.
He
He's a
is.
very underappreciated superhero. I
He
love
is.
John Jones. I love that he's on Supergirl, because I feel like we're just not going to get him anywhere else.
No, probably not.
And Supergirl's doing really good right now.
It is.
Like, I remember seeing the trailer for it and going, wow, that looks surprisingly good. I would not suspect that from, like, a show called Supergirl.
Yeah, like, it started off, like, it kind of, like, I didn't start watching till, like, it was maybe 4 weeks into the show, and I watched it on demand just to, I'm like, well, let me see what it's about. After the first episode, I was hooked.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh man, this looks great. And with each episode, it's starting to get better. And it started off kind of a little rocky. You didn't know where it was exactly where it was at. But now it's like, now it's pretty good. Except for Red Tornado.
That shitty cosplay.
Oh, God. Ugh.
That happened to me with Arrow, actually, though. I saw it on Netflix for the longest time. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna check this out. And I just remember thinking the entire time that it was, took place in the Smallville universe. And I was like, oh, wait, no, it's its own separate thing.
Something else.
And speaking of me confusing shit, the biggest confusion I've made so far that we discussed is a lot of people, when Batman vs. Superman first announced, they announced Ben Affleck, and everyone was flipping out. Everyone was going, what the fuck? Ben Affleck?
Daredevil?
I completely confused Ben Affleck with Ben Stiller. So I was going, what the fuck? Ben Stiller? Why would you put Ben Stiller as Batman? And then, I remember finally seeing who they chose. I was like, that's not Ben Stiller. And yeah, no, that's Ben Affleck. I was like, oh, he's not so bad. He's better than Ben Stiller.
You were just so worried that Ben Stiller was going to give you the blue steel.
I was just worried that Ben Stiller was gonna wiggle his big ears, under that cowl. Yeah.
I don't think his ears would fit under a cowl.
I think Ben Affleck's gonna be one of the best Batman we've seen, because I said this earlier. I hate Christian Bale as Batman. He is not a good Batman to me. He's not a good Bruce Wayne.
I think he's a good Bruce Wayne.
I never bought him as Bruce Wayne. He's got too much of a thin face to me. Like Bruce Wayne to me, he's what Ben Affleck looks like. He's got the strong jaw. He's got the big kind of face. And Christian Bale just looked really just squished face like this.
His face did look kind of squished in that little helmet of his. I call it a helmet because, well, it wasn't exactly a cowl in the second movie.
Did they do something different with the cowl in Batman vs Superman where he can turn his head?
He can turn his head now, yeah, which is
I never knew that. I never knew that was a big thing Batman had to worry about. He had to rotate his whole body if he he wanted to turn. Maybe that's why Batman looks so stupid, making that voice in the Christian Bale movies is turning around with his whole body. What did you say, Alfred?
Because he can't hear him.
Yeah. Alright, well, we're probably going to have to wrap this up, but if you're still listening, thank you for watching. Let us know if you want to hear, more of this kind of stuff. I'm The Last Caleb.
I'm Captain Cold.
And hopefully I don't fuck up this time and actually upload this correctly, so have a good evening, guys.